Oh yes. Good morning. It is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo, with another amazing, exciting episode of Redstone Lapis Lazuli. I am here currently on a brand new rail line that I built to the what's it called? To the clay island, the clay continent. I said I was gonna do it, and I finally did. Right? So, like, this is the most beginning of beginnings. Because this is the first base. Like, I just got here. Let me turn this down. I mean, I literally just got here. So, give me a moment. Give me a moment while I get acquainted. So yeah, I'm late. I'm sorry. I'm like 20 minutes late. I slept in. It's Sunday. It's like Happy New Year, right? I was up too late last night playing video games. Bad. Playing those silly video games. I don't have any wood. How can you have no wood? All right. Well, hey. It's the morning. Where's your wood? Okay. So. Yeah. So I don't have a cart. So instead I have to fly back. I can't make a cart because I have no wood. So I have to fly back. But yeah, this is basically it's just a quick and ugly rail line that comes out of my train station and then like digs back into itself. So yeah, it goes over here, it dips back underneath, and it like, yeah, this is no longer necessary. Just like dips and goes right back through. So that's that. That's like about the only thing I did in this Minecraft game. I mean, I think I might have like gotten my armor back. Oh, I raided a pigment bastion. That's right. So this is what this looks like. So you select your cart, your track. My track is selected. Whee! There goes my base. Bye, base. Bye. On my tiny little island. Goodbye, my tiny little island. I go to a larger world. I'm going to that bigger land, that bigger place. Oh, look. See? It actually works. Like, what is that term? Object permanence. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's gone. Things outside your perception have independent existence and will remain in existence despite your lack of perception. Your perception does not dictate its yeah. Look at that. They see me. That's funny. That means I probably should like fortify this place a little bit against invasion from mobs. Oh, I forgot to bring the wood. All right. But I mean, look how janky this is. Like, it doesn't even go anywhere. Like, it literally is just like, I literally just dug it out. Okay, there we go. Ooh, it's getting dark. I got one. Oh. Come back here. All right, all right. So yeah, first of the year, 2021. I think I read somewhere someone say that, like, yeah, it's 2021, but actually it's the long 2020. We're still in 2020, and we're trying to like struggle and shake off the remnants. Yeah, I think Donald Trump is the perfect symbol for 2020. Yeah, Republicans, because they're Nazis, they're trying to stage a coup in the United States, and it's gonna fail. But that's not the point, because I don't think they actually believed, they never believed it was gonna win anyways. That what they want to do is set up the narrative for afterwards. They want to get the story going to rile up their base. Much like, you know, it's like the same thing with the Turner Diaries. You know how that fan fiction is what they use to rile up the white supremacists, to get them all afraid of stuff? Well, that's what the Republicans are doing now. They've lost, I think, like 61 court cases in a row, or 60 court cases. They've lost 60 court cases. They have no evidence of any of their stuff anywhere. But yet, they still push the narrative that there's fraud, even though they don't have proof. And the people who listen to the Republicans, they eat it up. They buy it. So that's a major problem, because now what they're doing is that Republicans are dismantling faith in the United States. That's what Republicans are doing. They're driving their people to hate the United States and democracy. Here, let's go check. Let me show you the Pigman Bastion. I can show you that. That's other stuff I've been working on. Hey, little pigman. What's up, my guy? Acacia Village. So yes, there's another train station, like the inverted train station. Inverted, I like that. I like that idea of dualism. I mean, I know dualism is itself as a fallacy, but it's fun. Like on a higher level, that apparent contradiction of dualism is resolved. On a higher level. Okay. Oh. So you got your one in, and then we got two out. I'm not wearing, here, let me put on my gold boots because I don't want to fight too hard yet. This is the back end. The back door. Ooh, what's up, guy? What? I still forgot wood. Ah. That's gonna kill me because I keep forgetting wood. Yeah. So this is the piglin Bastion, and it's cool because you can see the face. I should have bought a potion for it, but like there's the eye, and here's the snout, and here's the mouth and the tusks. And yeah, and this is not such a big. It's not such a big place. Like that's it. This is it. It goes down further, I think. Yeah, lava. Here, can I control that lava? Oh, I can control it. Let me see if I can make a nice way down. Dude, it's never fun to play with, or nice to play with lava like this. What am I doing? What are you doing? You can't control this lava. It's uncontrollable. It kind of is. Look at this. This is wild. It can't be controlled. Oh yeah, there's that volcano erupting in Hawaii, which is cool. I mean, it always erupts, but still. Yeah, look at that. It's all flooded out with lava. How do I get down there without like melting? How do I get down there without melting? Oh, here, like that. Whee. Ouch. Okay. Hey, there's a piglin guy. He's off to the side. So it goes bigger. It's more. It goes that way more. This isn't just it. How do I control this lava? Nope. Yes. Okay. Yeah, like this would have been a cool bridge. I wonder what happened to it to make it all like broken like this. And it doesn't go anywhere. But it's a cool bridge. Whee. Oop. I like the lamps. Is there anywhere else I can go down? No, but there's places down there, you see? Like it goes over there. Okay. Here, I want to light up that piglin so you can see it, because it looks so cool. Ow. Piglin Bridge restoration. What's in here? Oh, nothing. Okay. Yeah, this is the other side of his nose. So, okay, so I went through and I lit up. Here, watch. Now watch when I leave. Alright, so you can kind of see it. There's an eyeball, there's one snout nostril, there's the snout nostril, and there's the big mouth with the teeth and the tusks. And I broke off all the other teeth on the bottom. Ha 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 ha. But it's a big ugly face, like Ganon. It looks like Ganondorf. Da-da-dum. Okay, well there's nothing in it, so let's leave. Goodness graciousness. So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, this is all kind of like high level stuff. High level. Like, I have to pay attention because I could die at any moment type thing. And it's not so much fun because I have to pay attention or because I could die at any moment. I can't just hang out and like chit chat.
More carrots. Don't tear it. More carrots. Where's Garrett?
Vegetables. Vegetables.
You come from the west side.
Like, oh, you see what I mean? Like, death everywhere.
Drives me insane. Don't lie to me. Don't fry.
Scary. Scary. Knees weak, palms are sweaty. For real, my palms are sweaty.
Vegetables.
You come from the west side. The left side. The right brain drives me in.
All right, hold on. So this is gonna look a lot better once I like clean this up. But man, it's nerve-wracking being out here.
Don't fry, don't fry, don't fry.
I fell into a burning ring of fire. Went down, down, down. Oh yeah. Okay. Let's see. Step by step, Niagara Falls. All right, I made it. So this Piglin Bastion's a lot bigger. It's like huge, and I've died here because like these piglins will mob you. Like you can't even see them. There's so many of them, and these black ones will kill you. Well, they'll kill me. They have axes, and they don't care if you're wearing bling. They'll kill you. So I just don't want to be here anymore. I've already raided it. I got I stole their beats. There was a record disc called yeah, it looks a lot better. Kinda. Called Pig Step. I stole their record, but I don't really like it. It's not really my style, I guess. Hey, we can go here. Look at that golem just wreck everything. Yeah, golem, that's how you do it. Dude is growing crops in a waterfall. Alright, I should never want for sand again. Look at all this. And then off in the distance, I want to make that, see where that leads to. Just this cool little village right in the border of the ocean, the desert, and the savannah. I mean, they picked a good place to make a village. Other side, there's this little bay here. Anything else? No. A little oasis here. Okay. So let's talk about stuff, shall we? I'm gonna need more coffee. Need some more coffee. Oh boy. I wrote down so much stuff, it's so dumb. But no one's okay. So let me take a look at my pictures here. Stop. What do we got here? Oh man, I'm so tired. Doom. Oh yeah, MF Doom. Can I play this part? Because it's not music.
Why are you smiling? Now! end of doom. I only wish we could be certain of that, Commissioner.
Oh, yeah? I'll bet you we won't see him again until doomsday.
So let's talk about stuff. So everyone's been talking about the vaccine. Finally get the vaccine. 20 to 40% of LA County frontline workers declined the COVID-19 vaccine. The rollout of the vaccine has been a disaster. Donald Trump has never had a plan for anything. Never had a plan for anything. Donald Trump doesn't care. He's not actually here to govern. He's here to make money for Donald Trump and his friends. That's the only thing Donald Trump cares about. Donald Trump is the worst U.S. president in history. And a lot of people voted for the worst president in the United States. Right now, the party of the worst president of the United States is trying to stage a coup. They're trying to say that without evidence, that the votes that elected them are invalid. That is to say, a whole bunch of two House Republicans tell me they expect, as of now, that at least 140 Republican members of the House will on January 6th object to and vote against the Electoral College results showing President-elect Biden won. So they're trying to stage a coup. They literally will not accept an election result in which Donald Trump loses. Like they can't accept an election result in which they themselves win, right? These representatives, these 140 GOP representatives won their vote, but then on the same ticket, Donald Trump lost. So that means 104 GOP politicians are on January 6th going to come up and say, hey, the vote that elected me, that was fraudulent. I cheated. I want everyone to say no, that you can't certify this vote on January 6th because the GOP cheated. I'm telling you, the vote that elected these GOP senators, yeah, we're all frauds. That's what they're going to tell us, the whole world. They're going to tell the whole world that the GOP cheated the election in order to win their seats in the House and the Senate. And they're all gonna come out and say that. So the question is, what do we do with Republicans who admit to committing fraud in order to overthrow the government? Because that's what they are, right? I think the real takeaway from all this nonsense is that if Republicans controlled both the House and the Senate at some point in the future, that's entirely possible. They'll simply vote to reject the Electoral College votes if Democrats win a presidential election. Right? They are signaling, Republicans are signaling right now to the future that they do not accept democracy if they lose. They're telling you now that they're already doing all the motions, right? They're trying to do it in the Senate, or they're trying to do it in the House, but they don't have enough votes. And they're trying to do it in the Senate, but they don't have enough votes. If ever they controlled both the House and the Senate, they would do it. They would vote to overthrow the Constitution and overthrow democracy. They would do it. That's what they're telling us right now. Republicans are traitors. Republicans are traitors. There is no other way around it. Republicans are traitors. There's no other way around it. Here, look at this. I don't know what this is about. All right, this isn't just about Trump. Oh shit. I gotta actually go in the house. If I stay outside, I'm gonna get jumped by skeletons. Ooh, I'll steal this bed. Got shot in the knee. I took an arrow to the knee. Huh. What's up, guy? Huh. You are super poor. Okay. That's neat. They built their village next to the only hill around here. Like, look, this is like the biggest hill. Yeah, I can totally make a base here. I like this setup. I can make a tower here. Look at that guy. I can make a tower here, and then have ocean access. I don't even know where that nether portal goes, but that looks so cool. Okay, where was I at? What is this? This isn't just about Trump. Since 1988, both Dems and GOP have held the presidency for 16 years, during which GOP presidents cut taxes on billionaires and made 1 million jobs. Dem presidents raised taxes on billionaires, and made 35 million jobs. So here, let's look at this. Let's look at this, right? Oh, here, I'm in the way. Okay. Truman. So the first line is the first line is 10 million jobs. And this first person is Truman, 9 million. Eisenhower, 4 million jobs. Do you know the tax rate under Eisenhower? Here, let's look at the tax rate under Eisenhower. Let me find that real quick, because that's important to know. Dude. For real? All right, here. I should have did this sooner, right? Taxes. Like this. Oh. Let me close this one. So you see that one. So under President Eisenhower, the tax rate, if you were poor, if your income group, if you were like making like less than 20% of income, your tax rate was the lowest in the entire country. But if you were in the top 400, if you were in the top, if you were in the top 400, your tax rate was at 70%. So 70% tax rate in 1950 on the richest people. All right. So remember that one. Okay, like that. I'm getting confused. Like this. Okay, go back to our dudes here. GOP taxes. Okay, so under Eisenhower, top tax shit. Under Eisenhower, the top tax rate was 70%. 70%. He made 4 million jobs. Kennedy, 4 million. Johnson, 12 million. Nixon, 9 million. Ford, 2 million. Carter, 10 million. Reagan, 16 million. H.W. Bush, 3 million. Clinton, 23 million. W. Bush, 1 million. Obama, 12 million. Trump, minus 3 million. So Trump is the worst jobs president in American history. And Dems all raise taxes on the billionaires. And Republicans all cut taxes on the billionaires. So let's look at the Donald Trump's tax rate. So under Donald Trump, the top 400 people pay the lowest amount of taxes in the country under Donald Trump. And if you're poor, you pay like under Eisenhower it was down here, but under Trump, if you're poor, you pay more taxes. And if you're a billionaire, you pay the lowest taxes in the whole country. And remember, Donald Trump made minus 3 million jobs. So the idea is if you cut taxes on billionaires, you lose jobs. And that's the Republican plan, is they want to cut taxes on billionaires. Man, I've got so much stuff here. All right, so you know that the Republicans, or Mitch McConnell, blocked a vote on the $2,000 check, stimulus check, to help out Americans. And Mitch McConnell, when he said that, he was saying, because I don't want to help out the rich. He's like, all these poor, starving Americans need $2,000 to survive. But Mitch McConnell says, but they're rich, so I don't want to help them. Meanwhile, the billionaires, the actual rich people, he does want to help. So Bernie Sanders is like, all right, well, I can play this game. I'm going to stop your vote on the military, that you cannot fund the military until we get a vote on the $2,000 stimulus check. Bernie Sanders went to bat for the people. He said, you cannot fund the military until you fund the people. That's what Bernie Sanders said. And he stopped everything. And everyone got pissed off at Bernie Sanders. Well, all the establishment Democrats got angry at Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren stood with Bernie Sanders. The Oregon senators, Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, they stood with Bernie Sanders. And they said, yeah, you cannot fund the military until you fund the American people. They all stood with Bernie Sanders. But Chuck Schumer, and all the establishment Democrats worked with the Republicans. They're like, this is terrible. Bernie Sanders is not going to let the Senate pass a bill to fund the military unless he gets a vote on the $2,000 check. Oh no! So Chuck Schumer says, well, that's terrible. And he goes to Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, I'm Chuck Schumer. Mitch McConnell, let's work together. Let's be friends and beat that Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, oh my gosh, they want us to vote on the $2,000 check. No, Mitch McConnell, let's Democrats and Republicans work together to stop Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Let's work together. And Mitch McConnell said, okay, Chuck Schumer, together we can stop Bernie Sanders. And they shook hands, and Republicans and establishment Democrats worked together to override Bernie Sanders and pass the military budget without passing the $2,000 check. Chuck Schumer said, the American people, we got to fund the military. Sorry, I'm working with with Mitch McConnell. Chuck Schumer is working with Mitch McConnell to fund the military, bypass Bernie Sanders, bypass the American people. Just so you know, that Democrats are not a monolith. There's factions. There's the awesome faction containing Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. There's more I can't remember right now because I have to look at their name. And then there's like the not so cool side of Democrats who are happy to serve corporate overlords. So the long game, the meta is to take control of the Democratic Party. And failing that, to fracture the Democratic Party via instant runoff voting, to introduce more parties into the American political system. I mean, we already kind of have. We already have it in our country. Georgia is already doing runoff voting. It's just not instant. They make you wait a long time and add all this extra time and money to it. Like when it's instant, there's no wait a month to redo the election. It's like instant. They do it right away. And so what you do is you rank instead of just choosing one and that's it. If there's 5 candidates, you rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if your number 1 does not win, your vote doesn't get wasted. Your vote moves to your number 2. Like, it's such a better idea. And we could have other parties, except for, the progressive Democrats could have much more power under an instant runoff voting scenario. And radical Republicans would not have as much power because they wouldn't have a death grip on the party anymore, these radical Republicans. So if you're conservative, but you don't like what the Republicans have done and you hate it, you can still have your conservative party. You just like under instant runoff voting, the radicals are marginalized. Enlist. Get out of your bed. I want it. I took an arrow to the knee. Again. I stole your bed. Just for the night. Okay. Look at, there's that skeleton in the shadows. He's like, I'm waiting for you. All right. So the problem is, by Molly Jongfast, as we enter 2021, let's give thanks to the unsung workers of 2020, the unsung essential workers of 2020. I didn't finish this one. I didn't get to look at all of them. So essential workers were lambs sent to the slaughter by Donald Trump and his know-nothing Republicans. Essential workers are the people who bag your groceries, grill your hamburger, farm your strawberries, deliver your mail, fill your prescriptions, and drive your bus. Without these people, there's no food order, no bread to bake, no coffee to drink. And I didn't finish getting it, but the point is that they're not getting paid. We force them to work as if they are essential, but we do not pay them as if they are essential. We pay them as if they are disposable, and that that the market can just grab any other human being to slot into that position. Indeed, that is the whole point of wage capitalism. That's the whole point, is to de-skill the worker, put that skill into the machine so you can cycle through workers. If a worker gets hurt, the capitalists, like under slavery, right? Under slavery, a slave is a sunk cost. When you pay for a slave, that's sunk capital. You get whatever you can get out of that slave. So if the slave gets sick, if you want to get your maximum investment, you have to take care of your slave. Or because if your slave dies or can't work, then you get nothing, no return on your investment. Right. So as a slave owner, you are responsible to get the maximum investment out of your slave. You have to feed your slave. You have to clothe your slave. You have to take care of your slave. Like, you have to treat your slave. You have to expend energy on maintaining the well-being of your slave, and if you want to get the maximum investment out of your slave. But under capitalism, it's a great improvement, because the capitalist has absolutely no obligation whatsoever to take care of the worker. If a worker gets sick or is unable to take care of them or unable to work as hard, all you do is fire them. And then you draw from the gigantic pool of reserve labor, of unemployed people. And you just grab another one and you throw them in there, because all of the skill of the job has been ripped out of the humans and put into the machine. Right. They want to, because the capitalist needs to treat humans as replaceable as cogs. Just like if a cog wears down and you replace the gear, it's the same thing with a human. If the human wears down, they're replaceable. You just replace it with another human. You turn them into machines, parts of a machine. I forgot why I started going into why capitalists are terrible. Yeah, they don't care about humans. They have no obligation to take care of human beings. They don't care. And so yeah, you have these essential workers, right? But Donald Trump doesn't care about the essential workers. What Donald Trump cares about is the profits of the factory owners. Right? If the workers aren't working in the factories, then the capitalists can't make a profit. They can't realize a profit. And if they can't realize a profit, well, then they're going to get eaten up by another capitalist, or they'll become a proletariat like the rest of us. So that's the nature of the game. So our most essential people are treated as if they're the most expendable under our system of production, capitalism, because we don't control the government. We could structure society by passing laws saying, no, if you're an essential worker, you deserve hazard pay, and your employer has to provide protective gear. You get hazard pay and you get protective gear, and you get health care, because you have to work under dangerous conditions. It's all paid for. That's if the people control the government, right? Because then you would expect policies that come out of the government would reflect that people control the government, right? Just like a gun, right? Just like holding a gun. If the good guy controls the gun, then you would expect the bullets that come out of that gun to help good people and hurt bad people. That's how you know a good person's holding the gun, right? Because if you look at a person, you can't tell by looking at a person out on the outside superficially if they're good or bad. And even really, if you want to get down to it, the idea of good and bad, even that idea is not very useful. That idea of, honestly, the idea of good and evil is not useful, because good and evil depend entirely on your perspective. There's nothing solid to good and evil, right? There's nothing you can grab onto to clearly define good and evil, because good and evil are purely perspectives. Right? From my perspective, Nazis are evil. Proud Boys are evil. Billionaires are evil. From my perspective. But from the perspective of the Proud Boy, I'm the evil one. Yeah, you talk to a Proud Boy, I'm the evil one, and I'm the one they want to inflict violence upon. So, good and evil is based entirely upon perspective. Like, what's that? That God, the Star Wars prequels. I hate them. I hate the prequels. I hate every Star Wars except for the first three. Or well, the first three, the original three. Am I old? Probably, but that's the way it is. I hate the new ones. The 7, 8, and 9. I hate them. I hate them. I think they murdered the franchise with those last three. But that's beside the point. The first three, the prequel, Anakin said something about like, well, from my perspective, it's the Jedi who are the evil ones. Right? Good and evil is all about perspective. So instead of using good and evil, I like to use more objective standards. Right. And that's the standard of utility. Like the greatest good for the greatest number. It's not about like what's good or bad, but about what's the greatest good. Because sure, if we cut taxes for billionaires, here, like, look it over here. Let's look at back this one, right? So sure, right? If we cut tax, so let's look at the Republican side, right? To Republicans, they believe cutting taxes for billionaires is the best, is good. And they say cutting taxes for poor people is bad, is evil. So let's look, right? From the Republican perspective, by cutting taxes on billionaires, you have helped 400 people in a country of 370 million. You have helped 400 people. And to them, that is good. Right? But to me, for me, I want the greatest good for the greatest number of people. So cutting taxes on billionaires for 400 people, cutting taxes on billionaires, 400 people, that's good for those 400 people. Okay. Not so good for everyone else, but for 400 people, it's the best. Now, for me, I like the way it was back during Eisenhower when we made the interstate highway system, when we built infrastructure. I liked it back then. Back then, the top 400 people had the most pain. They paid the most taxes. That wasn't true because, like, they were still billionaires. It didn't actually hurt them, is what I'm saying. It didn't actually hurt. This doesn't hurt them at all. They don't feel anything. They felt nothing at this level for them at 400. But look at the tax rate for the lower 99%. Is lower than it is under Donald Trump's scheme right now. So for the greatest number of people, taxes are lower, which is the greatest good for them, because lower taxes on the poorest people helps a lot more than lower taxes on the richest people. You're making a lot more good by helping the poorest people than by helping the top 400 richest people. You make more good helping the poorest than helping the richest. So for me, it's good to do it this way because it makes the most benefit. But for a Proud Boy, what I'm telling you right now is evil. Helping poor people is evil. For a Proud Boy, you must help the top 400 richest people because that's good for them. And helping poor people is evil. So are you starting to see now why good and evil aren't useful? Because it depends entirely on your perspective. Who are you trying to serve? Who are you serving? Who's your daddy? So, for an example, let me show you about how our frontline workers who are essential, who don't get hazard pay, how they are treated by the people. Look at these guys. So what we're seeing here are frontline workers who are making probably not much more than minimum wage, who are essential, who are being forced to work. They're forced to work because Donald Trump called them essential, but gives them no support. Donald Trump, the same guy who calls them essential and forces them to work with no extra pay so that the owners make money. Hold on, I'm running away from monsters. Okay. Is also telling his own people that the virus is fake and you don't need to wear a mask, and that you should fight against it. So now there are mobs of fascists, of Nazis, who refuse to wear a mask, and the only people stopping them from going into stores are those frontline essential workers who Donald Trump is forcing to work, and Donald Trump won't give them pay. So they're forced to risk their lives against the mob of Donald supporters without support. Like it's stupid. It's stupid how bad how bad these Donald supporters are. I want to call them evil because they are creating the maximum amount of damage, of harm to the people who have the least amount of power. These essential workers have no say over who gets to go in and out of the store. They get no say over if they can work or not because Donald Trump ordered them to work. They have no power whatsoever, but yet they're the ones who receive the brunt of the damage from the deniers, from Donald's supporters. Like it's a tragedy. It makes me angry. Dude is gonna die because he's suffocating. Oh, yeah, he made it out. All right, here, let me heal you up. Oh, wait, no, I'm not gonna heal you up. I have no iron. Oh, wait, I do have iron. I think. Ooh, I don't have iron? Ooh, that's bad to not have enough iron like that. Ooh, I gotta fix that. That's scary. To not have iron? How can I not have iron? Oh, there it is. Block of iron. Okay. I was gonna say, like, what do you mean, no iron? Doesn't matter anyways, he's gone. I think he went back through. Yep, he went. Oh, no, there he is here. Let me heal you. Yay! Bright and shiny again. Look at you. In the nether. Where everything here will kill you. Oh, look, the guy came back. Ah, he took my cart. That's funny. He was like, so this is what hell looks like. Here, why don't you come to my other village? That'd be fun. Go visit my. Here, let's go on a trip. Go visit my town. Get in that cart. Come on, go. There you go. Let's go. He is going traveling. Man, this guy's got to be tripping balls. Oh. Lagging. It's lagging hardcore. There it goes. Oh, there's two of them. There's two guys there. Nice. All right. Welcome to my base. You are far from home. Oh, there's three guys here. Check it out. Oh, wow. They're all checking it out. That's nice. That's neat. What's up, guys? Okay. So, what's some other stuff going on? Oakland, California. Oakland residents convinced the city to rethink how it tackled gun violence. Now, amid calls to defund the police, other cities are eyeing its strategy. What did Oakland do differently than other cities? Reed was being sought by outreach workers who wondered if he'd like to meet with a life coach to help him get his feet back on the ground. It was the latest version of a strategy to drive down gun violence in a city with one of the country's highest murder rates. The program, called Operation Ceasefire, draws on data to identify people who are at the highest risk of shooting someone or being shot themselves. At a meeting with police and community members, known as call-ins, the recruits are told they'll be punished if they keep engaging in violence. But they're also offered access to housing, jobs, medical care, and life coaches, plus a monthly stipend if they accomplish goals like signing up for health insurance, opening a savings account, and staying in touch with probation officers. The idea is to try to prevent shootings, not by flooding the streets with armed police, but by connecting people with resources and helping them build relationships. You mean by giving people universal basic income, housing, guaranteed job, and access to health care, you stop violence? What? You mean if you give people Medicare for everyone, universal basic income, guaranteed housing, and a guaranteed job, you stop crime and humans are healthier? Wow! What a novel idea! It's working. Between 2011 and 2017, the number of shootings in Oakland dropped by more than 50%. Meanwhile, arrests have declined, and officers are solving more murders than they once did. Police departments in New York City, Chicago, Minneapolis, and Washington, D.C. have sent officials to observe the city's alternative model. What Oakland's doing is certainly the ceasefire strategy, but it's a very evolved version. Oakland paid much more attention to a strong community voice and to providing a more robust set of social services. So to reiterate, instead of increasing the police budget to put more police officers with guns out on the streets, instead of doing that, they gave Medicare for everyone, healthcare, jobs, money, cash money, and a place to live to people. And what happened? They got better. Humans got better. Violence went down. And the cost to the state went down. The overall cost to the state went down. By making by curing and helping humans thrive, it costs the state less money for maintenance because police officers are expensive. Jails are expensive. It's much cheaper to pay for life coaches and to just give people health care than it is to pay for prisons and cops and then pay for chronic health problems that are chronic because it wasn't taken care of with prevention, with routine health care that you get in developed nations. Oh my gosh, it's like you can't say it enough. I don't know what's wrong with people. Like, so okay, now the city's public safety director called in advisors from the California Partnership for Safe Communities, a newly formed nonprofit, to examine data gathered from a year and a half of shooting and figure out more specifically who was involved. The results shook police and the city's leaders' assumptions. Just 400 men were responsible for the majority of the city's homicides. The discovery challenged a long-held belief that people age out of violence in their 20s. Most shooters were black or Latino and members of a street group, a term used in Oakland instead of gang. And they had forged strong ties with friends in their crew. They were typically fighting not over drugs, as was commonly believed, but over personal beefs. Most had a history of prison or probation, and many had been involved in a previous shooting as either a perpetrator or a target. Because the men were older, they had more time to rack up bad experiences with official agencies and the criminal justice system, whether through foster care or the courts. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about school to prison pipeline. These guys got caught up real early in life as kids in the school to prison pipeline. So basically what's happening is the state is reaping what they've sown. Now, the state invested in school resource officers in criminalization of young people. The state invested money in criminalization, and what they got out of it were criminals. They invested in criminalization, and they got out criminals. And the criminals they got out of it were very expensive, very violent. It cost the state very much money. So the investment that the state put in, school resource officers, came out criminals, which increased the costs. Now instead, if the state invests in community building through life coaches, through guaranteed jobs, through guaranteed housing, through guaranteed health care, the investment the state reaps are productive citizens that do not require the assistance of the state and strengthen the community instead of weaken the community. That's what you're seeing here. But here, let's look at the opposite of Oakland. So we know what's going on in Portland, right? In Portland, they've been protesting against police violence. They say defund the police. Portland is telling their government, the city government, defund the police. Take money out of the police and put it into social programs the way Oakland did it. That's what the protesters are shouting. And so the Portland city government, Ted Wheeler, listened and heard, I'm hearing from you guys that you want me to get rid of the police. So as an agent of democracy, what Ted Wheeler is going to do is the exact opposite of what you'd say. You want me to take money away from the police. I'm going to add money to the police and increase the penalties. I'm going to input more investment into the criminal justice system. Ted Wheeler wants to invest in criminals. So he hears the community is doing the opposite. fuck you, community. We're doing the opposite. We're going to invest in criminals. So let's see how that works out for Ted Wheeler, right? So we know the way he should be going. We see what the data says. We see what the science says. And Ted Wheeler is doing the opposite. He says, no, Ted Wheeler wants criminals. Ted Wheeler is looking to drain the state and the community of its resources. Because Ted Wheeler is a bad guy. I mean, well, bad is not a useful concept. Ted Wheeler wants to accrue the benefits for just a small group of people. He doesn't want to really help the greater city of Portland. He just wants to help a small group. And that's evident by his policies, right? So let's look at Oakland, or let's look at Portland, right? There's been a historic shortage of job and resources in poorer communities as a contributing factor. So as Portland struggled with COVID-19, they had and nightly protests. Shootings in Oregon's largest city also more than doubled this year. So the logged about 900 shootings compared to about almost 400 in all of 2019. Okay, so, and it's a historic shortage. So what's happening is that because there's not enough investment in the community, criminals are coming out. That's what's happening in Portland. So Oakland, they invested in the community and it reduced things. In Portland, they've taken out of the community and they've put it in the police. And what that's done is that's doubled the homicides, doubled the shootings. So Ted Wheeler's like, yeah, we're moving in the right direction. Ted Wheeler, right? So here's the city budget. The police budget has been increasing over time, right? From 2009 to current time, it's been increasing, going up. And in 2021, it went down by what, 3%? Hardly anything, 3%. So Ted Wheeler is investing in criminality, in crime. So we see, as the city of Portland increased its investment in the police, crime goes up. Well, the violence goes up. Police become more brutal as time goes on, right? The more you invest in police, the more violence you get. Ted Wheeler is like, yes. This is the direction Ted Wheeler wants to go. Remember, Ted Wheeler wants to increase the violence. So Ted Wheeler says, okay, the community wants me to decrease the funding, but I want to increase the funding because Ted Wheeler sees that as you increase funding, the violence goes up. So we're going to look at the crime and use of force here. So the red line is the crime, right? Crime is pretty much unchanged, right? 14 to 19, pretty much unchanged. Police violence has been going up. The police have become more and more and more violent, right? Makes no difference to the crime, right? The police get to be more criminal though, and that's the point, right? You give money you increase the police money, it increases the police violence. The crime doesn't change, but your goal isn't to change the crime. Your goal is to increase violence. Ted Wheeler wants to increase the violence. So we see that increasing funding and brutality of the police has no effect on the violence, on the crime, but it's a good increasement in the violence. And that's, I think, the goal of Ted Wheeler. So what's this? Dollars spent per arrest. So you're increasing the number of police, you're increasing the money spent on police, you're decreasing the money spent in the community. Crime hasn't changed. And look, every time you arrest someone, it becomes more and more expensive. So it doesn't actually help the crime, but it costs the city a lot more money, right? Increased arrests don't help crime, but they increase the cost to the city. Okay. So now we're looking here at dollars spent per arrest, right? So for every arrest, it becomes what, almost $4,000 for every arrest. All right. So as the budget of the Portland police goes up, the number of arrests of Portland police goes up, and the Portland police brutality goes up, right? So you're getting, the crime is the same, the money to the police goes up, the cost to the arrest goes up, the brutality goes up, the violence goes up, crime unchanged. The money to the communities goes down, crime unchanged. And this, the blue line here, shows you the number of convictions per arrest. So there's a high number of arrests, but all those arrests get released with no charges. So you're arresting people for nothing. You get no charges. It costs more money to arrest them, and you get no charges. There's no crime committed. So you have to release them because there's no crime. Crime's the same. Costs go up. Violence goes up. Brutality goes up. But do you see the picture here? Do you see what's going on? Okay, but is that the only negative? No. The police are racist. The whole system is racist. So this increased brutality and enforcement of all these extra police, it doesn't apply evenly. The brutality is focused on minorities. So let's look at the increased focus. As you had more police, it's more black people who get pulled over. Increased police, increased brutality, no change in crime. Oh, look, black people get harassed more by police. Increased harassment of black people. As time goes on, black people get more and more harassed by the police. They get pulled over by the police more than white people over time. So the investment in police equals white supremacy. There's no other way around it. Right. All these visualizations were brought to you by Kat McClevely. She's the one who hooked me up with all these visualizations. But there's a tale of two cities, right? There's your tale of two cities. In Oakland, they defunded the police and put that money into the community. And that resulted in a stronger community and a healthier city who saved money. In Portland, they're going the opposite direction. Ted Wheeler wants to increase the amount of violence in the city and wants to decrease the level of funding that the city has available. So in order to increase white supremacy, I mean, because Ted Wheeler is in service to white supremacy, right? He's not doing this just because he wants to. It's in service to something. By increasing the police, you increase white supremacy because the police serve white supremacy. That's the paradigm. That's the dominant paradigm. The police serve white supremacy. So Ted Wheeler, to serve white supremacy, is going to sacrifice the community, sacrifice black people, sacrifice the budget of the city of Portland in order to increase brutality and violence. That's Ted Wheeler's goal. He can say whatever he wants, right? We have the data. We know where we're going. We know that the court Ted Wheeler has plotted. We know where he's going, towards white supremacy. That's who Ted Wheeler is. He can say whatever he wants. You look at the actions and the policies. Words are meaningless. Actions, policy. Because to a liar, words are nothing. And that's the point, right? When you talk to a Proud Boy, again, this gets to our perspective, right? When you talk to a Proud Boy points to anti-fascists and calls them Nazis, calls them fascists. If a Proud Boy points to an anti-fascist and says, no, they're actually the fascists, that would mean Proud Boys are anti-fascist. Okay, good, right? Anti-fascism has a broad coalition of many different people, right? Anti-fascism, because that's what it means, right? So I can look at the Proud Boys and see all the women and minorities and transgendered people inside the Proud Boys. No, I don't. I don't. I mean, I know the Proud Boy calls himself anti-fascist, but when I look at his group, he says all these words, right? But when I look at his group, they're all white dudes. And they're all Christian. They're all like homogenous. It seems like the exact opposite of what anti-fascism is. So then it dawns on me, oh, that's right. He's not actually anti-fascist. The Proud Boy really is a fascist, because to a fascist, truth does not matter. Words do not matter. The meaning of words do not matter. Meanings of words are not determined by collective agreement. Instead, meaning of words are determined by the power level of the person speaking the words. So the words can mean whatever the speaker wants them to mean if the speaker is powerful enough. To the fascist, the only thing that matters is power. The only thing that matters is power. That's why it's okay for Donald Trump to lie through his teeth, because the truth doesn't matter. It's only about power. And this is what helped me to save Christianity. For the longest time, I was super anti-Christian. I was raised Catholic. And being raised Catholic, I didn't have any idea that there was any other religion out there. Like, I literally, as a kid, I literally had no idea. I mean, because I went to CCD, which is like Catholic religious school, for like a little while. I didn't go for the whole time, but I went for my first communion. And I literally did not know there could be other religions. I literally did not know. So as I grew up and I started finding all these contradictions within the Catholic faith, like, and I was 16 and I had no one could answer my questions or like challenge or like solve these contradictions for me. So I got really angry and I became an atheist. And I became like hardcore atheist. I was like, rah! Super atheist. And like anti-Christian atheist. And I was like that for a long time. But then I had a number of experiences. But one of those experiences was listening to that song by King Missile from Jesus is Way Cool. That song kind of clicked on my head that I'm taking things, like, some people take things way too seriously. That you gotta like just chill out on things sometimes. So what does that mean? It means that I couldn't look at Christianity as a monolith anymore. I couldn't look at Christianity as just one thing, the same all throughout. Like I started to understand that Christianity has many factions and it's broken up into many flavors. And there's lots of different flavors and stuff. And then that's when I started to realize that there's one group of Christians that use the word Christianity but actually have nothing to do with Christianity. And it took me a long time to understand that and then to separate them out from the rest of the Christian groups. And that group is the evangelicals, the conservative evangelicals. What I realized is that what conservative evangelicals, they're not Christian. What they are is that they're inverted Christians. It's like reverse Christianity. And that's what they are. They use the words of Christianity, but they're actually the opposite. They do the opposite. the inverted Christians, the inversions. What do I call that? What did I call them? Inversionists. They're inversionists. They're not Christians. They're the evangelicals are not evangelical Christians. They're inversionists. They believe the exact opposite of Christians. So what that means is that they worship a deity. They worship a thing that they call Jesus. A thing that they call Jesus. But the thing they call Jesus is not the historic Jesus that lived, but their idol. They have an idol that they made, and they apply the name of Jesus to the idol, but it's not Jesus. It's an idol, and its name is not Jesus. And this idol that is not Jesus, that they worship, tells them that material wealth is a sign that you are blessed by that particular deity, that particular God, right? It's not Jesus, it's not Jehovah, it's not Yahweh, it's not Allah, right? That's the thing I had to understand, right? They use the inversionists use the same language, but it's because they believe in power and not truth. So the inversionists use the same language, but they have a different meaning. And so you have to separate it out and understand that when they use the word, they're using a perverted version of it. They're not using the actual word, or they're using the word, but they've corrupted the content. So they call it Jesus. The thing they worship, they call it Jesus, but it's an idol. It's not actually Jesus. It's an idol. And the thing that they worship, that they call Jesus, but it's not actually Jesus, it tells them that material wealth is a sign of being blessed by the God of that idol, which is not Yahweh, and which is not Jehovah, which is not Allah. And because of it, and remember, and the way they think is totally different. Because remember, they worship power. Their number one thing is power. So the meaning of the word depends upon the speaker of the word, at the power level of the speaker of the word. So if you're a minority person, if you're a black man, and you speak, and you say God is love, God loves everyone, God doesn't care if you're black or white or gay or anything. God loves you. The inversionist says, oh, you're a black man, your word is worthless. Your power level is too low. Therefore, your words mean nothing. To the inversionist. Right? Oh, if you're a gay person, your power level is too low to the inversionist. So the inversionist will disregard what you say. But if a rich person comes along and says, oh yeah, God loves me because look at how wealthy I am. That's why I know God loves me, because I'm really rich. The inversionist will say, oh yes. Even though it's the opposite words of what Jesus says, to the inversionist, it doesn't matter what Jesus says. It's about the power level of the person talking. And the rich person has a lot of power. So whatever word they says, whatever meaning the rich person ascribes to their words, that's what they go with. Because they're weaker and this person's stronger. The inversionist is weaker than the rich person. Like, I don't know if that's, I'm trying to make it make sense to you. Inversionists are antichrists. And they're real. And they're here now. And they're trying to destroy creation. I'm trying to be nice about it, but they're just let me just spit it out. And you can see it in every way, right? They're the opposite. They're the opposite. They don't believe in democracy. They don't believe in freedom. They don't believe in justice. They don't believe in truth. They only believe in power. You can see it, right? They're the ones who are waving the thin blue line flag, the inversionists. They're waving thin blue line. Oh, but what happens when those police turn on them? Oh, suddenly they hate the thin blue line. So where is it? Hold on, I have that.
You. Thanks for walking on us today. Yeah, I'm
Huh?
for you all fucking summer. Fuck you. Fuck every one of you. Fuck you. Been there for you all fucking year. Only one punishment for treason.
So the Nazis are angry that the police, the state, stopped them from being Nazis, from attacking people. So what do the Nazis do? They turn on the police. They no longer back to the blue. They hate the police. They say, fuck the police, just like the other side. No, wait a minute. What? Are Nazis saying the same thing as anti-Nazis? What? No. We are not friends. No. We are not friends. The reason why anti-Nazis say F the police is because the police attack minorities, the weakest people amongst us, the most vulnerable. Police attack the most vulnerable. That's why anti-Nazis say F the police. But when Nazis say F the police, it's not because they don't like, it's not because the police attack minorities. It's because the police stop the Nazis from exercising power, raw power, violence. The police, the state, the rule of law stops the Nazis from exercising raw power and violence against their enemies. There is no connection between the two. Nazis and anti-Nazis are not the same at all. Just because they both say F the police does not mean they're friends. Not at all. Nazis are Nazis. They're inversionists. So, oh man. So, okay. I'm saying a lot. But what you have to remember is that like, this is the first winter. This is the very, very first winter of the movement. So my last experience with a movement was Occupy Wall Street. That was in 2011. That happened in 2011 in the fall. So it was, occupy public space, a movement to occupy public spaces that started in the fall. It's kind of doomed to fail, right? Because what comes after fall? Winter. Winter is harsh. I mean, like, there's no way around it. Winter is harsh. Everything around you is telling you that it's hard. The sun is lower in the sky. It's darker. The days are shorter. It's freaking cold. The weather's cold. The trees are dying. Everything around you tells you to close up, to shutter, to die, to like shut down. Everything. So yeah, it's gonna be heavy on your spirit. It's heavy on your spirit. I understand it. And when Occupy tried it, we tried it in the dead of winter. It started in fall and went into the dead of winter, which crushed us. Like it's real hard to occupy a place where people don't want you while it's snowing. Like it's dumb. So okay. So now we move to present day, right? George Floyd, I think, is what started all this. And we had a long, hot, hard summer of protests, mass movement and protests, right? And it was real good. I think it got a lot of attention and focus on stuff. Right? But again, right? We're humans and we're in nature. And winter's and we moved into fall, and now we're moving into winter. And this is the first winter of the movement. This is the first winter of our modern movement. And winter is hard. Winter is hard. No matter what, winter is hard. So I want to go back. Like, I like to take stories from wherever I can. Stories are stories, and they're useful. Like, Native Americans are all about hunting with stories. And, like, I want to learn more Native American stories because I think that's great. They're great hunters. But Native Americans are all about hunting with stories. But I like to also, you can do more than hunting, just hunt with stories. You can also heal with stories. So, yesterday in Salem, there was a big meeting of, like, on the New Year's Day. There was a confluence of forces. There were the Nazis. The Nazis met at the Capitol, and the anti-Nazis and Black Lives Matters met at Bush Park. So what happened this time? The last time in the city of Salem, this happened. Nazis and anti-Nazis came into the city. The city of Salem sent the riot police after the anti-Nazis. And then the Nazis, the city of Salem allowed the Nazis to attack and terrorize the people around of the city. And that was like, and then the city of Salem, the city manager called it a great success. And there was a lot of protesting. People got very angry about that. So this time, same thing, right? A group of Nazis show up at the Capitol. A group of anti-Nazis show up at a park. This time, the riot police went over to the Nazis. And the police monitored the anti-Nazis. The way the police monitored the anti-Nazis was they sent I was there. They sent a drone to watch the anti-Nazis at the park. And eventually the drone ran out of power and fell into the group of anti-Nazis. And then 15 minutes later, the police came through with, like, guns and camouflage to retrieve their drone. And then they had a helicopter watching all of us. Oh, it was funny. But that was it. We had a nice time in the park. The anti-Nazis and the Black Lives Matters, we reaffirmed our commitment to one another and to the community and to our vision for the new year future. It was cold. It was damp. It was chilly. People were grumpy because, like, it's winter. It's icky, right? But I think it was good. We held together. No one got hurt. No one got beat up. No one got arrested. No one got terrorized. And we reaffirmed the love. I think it was a good meeting. It was a good meeting. It wasn't a big party cheer, 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 right? Because we're in dead of winter in the rain. But I think it was good to reaffirm our commitment to one another. Conversely, you go watch the Proud Boys. The Proud Boys, and the people in the anti-Nazi side, they were chanting. They said, "Black lives matter. Black lives matter. Black women's lives matter. Black trans lives matter. Black gay lives matter. Black lives matter." That's the chant of anti-fascists and Black Lives Matter, right? Conversely, at the Capitol, you have the Nazis show up, right? The Nazis show up with bats, their guns, their bear maces, right? And the riot police go meet them. and the Proud Boys are there, and then the Proud Boys do their chant, right? You have the anti-fascists chanting, "Black Lives Matters, Black Lives Matters," and then you have the Proud Boys, their chant, "F Antifa, F Antifa, Black Lives Matters, F Antifa, Black Lives Matters, F Antifa, Black Lives Matters, F Antifa." So you have the anti-fascists pointing up at the power, saying, "Protect the black people, don't kill the black people." And then you have the Proud Boys coming on saying, "We hate, attack the anti-fascists, attack the anti-fascists." The people with the least amount of power, the low power, the anti-fascists, they don't have a lot of power. Attack the people, the weak people. Yeah, the Proud Boys, attack the weakest people. Proud Boys, go for the weakest ones. Proud Boys are go for the weak ones. Roar! We only want violence, Proud Boys. Roar! Roar! Just look. Black Lives Matters, F Antifa. Stop killing black people. We want to attack other people. We want to beat you up. Stop killing black people. Power police. Police, stop killing black people. Hey, fellow citizens, we want to beat you up. Stop killing black people, you police. We want to beat you up, fellow citizens. I mean, Proud Boys are Nazis. Proud Boys are Nazis. If you tolerate Proud Boys, Proud Boys are Nazis. So, it's winter time. It's tough. Remember, but you have to remember another one of our winters. I take stories from everywhere, and I don't care. Let me find out where this starts, though. I got lost. Okay. 6? What? Oh noes. Okay, so I guess that's the first one. Winter of 1777. This is Valley Forge. So the idea is that a year ago, 1776, the colonials of England controlled the colonies, the American colonies, and the colonials wanted their freedom. So they staged a surprise attack on Christmas in 1776 that totally took the Brits by surprise. They had no idea that the colonials would do this, and the colonials attacked them, and it was a big thing, right? And everyone on the continent was like, whoa, holy crap, whoa. And all the colonials were like, yeah, that was cool, yeah. And so the Brits, after that, for the next year, the Brits were ticked off. They're angry. So they went out, the Brits just kicked the snot out of all the colonials for the rest of the year. But the colonials were pretty high on their victory, right? They're like, yeah. Just off, even though they got their butts kicked, they were still pretty happy. But then winter set in. Oh, 1776, in that July, in July of 1776, Declaration of Independence. The United States decided, hey, F you, England, we're free. Forget you. 1776, July. And what is the capital of this brand new nation, the United States of America? What is the capital of this place? The capital is Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So now these group of colonials have decided to declare freedom. They attack British troops, and now the British troops are going around the countryside kicking the crap out of the colonials. and winter setting in, right? The colonials declared Philadelphia their capital. So the Brits are like, oh, is Philadelphia your capital? Is that your capital? Let me just put my troops inside your capital. Oh, look it. I've got England, look it. Is this your capital? My troops are in your capital. In your capital. My troops are in your capital. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. All right, and then so you got George Washington, right? George Washington with his army. Philadelphia is the capital of his brand new nation. He can't go there. He cannot go there. He has his army. He can't go to the capital because the Brits control the whole thing. So instead of passing the winter in his capital city, instead of that, where it's occupied by the Brits, instead he's over in Valley Forge, in some freaking mountain valley. Instead of the city, he's in some mountain valley, in the wilderness, because his army can't get into the capital city. That sucks. So there's this. I ordered the troops to be in readiness for an attack, but behold, Washington wrote to what was left of the Congress. To my great mortification, men were unable to stir on account of provision. All I could do under these circumstances was to send out a few light parties to watch and harass the enemies. In other words, the American army was so cold and poor that even though there was an army like right over there, Washington couldn't get them to get ready and go fight. They didn't care. They didn't care. They were just so cold and hungry. They didn't care. All he could do was send a few parties out. He couldn't get his army to move. There we go. This is what I was looking for. All right. So, British troops' advancement and the dire state of his forces. See, as he spoke, some 12,000 troops were setting up camp around him for the winter, cobbling together because Washington couldn't get into Philadelphia because the Brits were occupied the capital city, so he couldn't get inside. So he had to spend the winter outside of the city, and he had to make a camp, right? So he had 12,000 troops setting up camp, 2,000 huts with foraged woods and the barest of tools. Horses and oxen were in such short supply that men were reduced to yoking themselves to makeshift carts. Many soldiers went without coats, shoes, and blankets. Most ate little in the way of meat. That day in camp, there were no cattle to slaughter, and fewer than 30 barrels of flour in the commissary. The upshot, nearly 3,000 freezing, near naked, and starving troops, a quarter of Washington's forces, have been declared unfit for duty. So of his 12,000 troops, a quarter of them said, no, you can't, you're no good to us. You can't fight for us. Get out of here. You're no good to us. Go home. So his 12,000 army went down to 9,000 because most of those people couldn't fight. So Washington's dispatch to the Congress that morning flagged a crisis situation. The British General Sir William Howe was on the move that very day with a force of more than 8,000 redcoats and Hessians. Having ventured out of then capital city of Philadelphia, which they captured 3 months earlier, they had crossed the whatever river, and according to the Continental Scouts, were heading to raid nearby farmsteads for hay and livestock. But with the British force now positioned less than 20 miles south of Valley Forge, Washington worried that the general would fill his forage wagons and then turn north to overrun his own ragtag, depleted army. And he tried to get him to get ready to fight, and the army couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. George Washington said, "I wish we could put the British in the mind of what happened this time 12 months." Thyman wrote to one of Washington's commanding generals. So it was Thyman, not Washington. And indeed, it's difficult to overestimate the impact of the previous year's Christmas raids on Trenton and Princeton had on the psyche and the morale of the Continental Army and its commander-in-chief. Not even the resounding defeats Americans had suffered across the intervening months at Brandywine Creek, at Paoli, at Germantown, at the Fort Mifflin and Mercer, whatever, could dull the luster of that marvelous memory. Nor was it lost on Washington that the most glorious celebration of this anniversary would be to replicate his Trenton and Princeton victories on a larger scale. Hence, another surprise attack began to cohere in George Washington's mind. What am I looking at? All right, so, man, I messed this all up. So what George Washington wanted to do. So we know his army was all wrecked up. His army was messed up, and the well-fed, the well-clothed, the well-armed, the well-supplied British army is occupying his capital city. So Washington was like, man, that pisses me off. I can't believe like these English are occupying my capital city. I can't believe they're occupying my capital city. I'm so angry. And so Washington had made this big plan. He was going to send out this little tiny scout force over here to try and bait General Howe into moving his forces away from Philadelphia and over to the scouts. He was going to try to feint, pretend like he was going to attack from this side. And then while the British moved their forces out of position, General Washington wanted to sneak his own forces into the side through at a very simultaneous attack to attack all the ramparts at the same time in a sneak attack from behind to take back the capital city and to do massive damage on the redcoats. So he's like, yeah, if I could get a big win, that would make me feel good. I could take back my capital city, push the redcoats out of my capital city, and we could feel good. So Washington's like, yo, guys, my officers, what do you think of my awesome plan? And his officers went to the side. It's like, you know what? That's kind of crazy. Like, they have bunkers, and you have Zerglings. Our Zerglings are not even upgraded. You want to do a surprise attack with Zerglings against bunkers by faking them out with an overlord over here on the side. You want to send Zerglings who are unupgraded against bunkers, marine bunkers. You're crazy. That's crazy. That's not going to work. Look at the lag. Amount of lag. You're trying to do precision maneuvers in a time without walkie-talkies. Like you can't coordinate anything. I don't know how they coordinated anything. You can't do it. Washington had the super complicated plan in order to score a big victory, but the lag was atrocious. There's no way you could do it. So all his officers were telling him, no, dude, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Washington. Stop it. Stop it. I don't care that they took our capital. It doesn't matter. If we go there, we're going to die. Don't do it. Don't do it. So what happened? Yeah, look at his army, right? Look what they're eating. The men subsisted on a concoction called fire cake flour and water mixed together and baked in iron kettles. The men didn't get any kind of yeast or leavening agent with their rations, so the fire cakes were flat and dense. On a good day, the cakes were tasteless. On the bad days, weevils or maggots would have found the flour store and added some extra protein to the mix. So his army was eating like rocks, basically, flour rock. They're eating flour rocks for food. And there was no way Washington's army could do this. Look at it. Look at him. Look at his army, dude. Homie is like, yeah, Washington, yeah, my commander. Yeah, I salute you, my commander. I'll do whatever you want me to do, commander. I salute you. Right? That's pretty noble of the dude, right? Look at his army. They're wearing shorts. Homie has no shoes on. They're wearing shorts. They're wearing shorts in the cold. Look at that skinny ass coat, dude. Look at those lame hats. Look at their freezing ass hands. Look at that lame jacket. Look at that stupid beanie. Those are rags. That's not an army. That's a bunch of homeless people. That's not an army. I mean, they mean well, right? They're trying. Look at these guys. They really want. They really believe what they're trying. They really mean it. They really try. They really want to do good. They will do whatever you want them. Well, they'll try to do whatever they want you ask them to. But man, they're hurting. They are hurting. They have no food. They have no money. They have no clothes. They have no shelter. They got kicked out of their capital. They're hurting. It's winter. It's hard. It sucks. It's bad. It's hard. Right? And Washington wanted to go send a Zergling attack, a super complicated Zergling attack? No way, no way. So General Nathaniel Greene of Rhode Island was perhaps the most frank. He knew well the near messianic fervor with which Washington sought to drive the British from Philadelphia, no matter how well hidden behind the facade of executive sobriety. But he reminded his commander-in-chief about the danger of consulting our wishes rather than our reason. In the end, Washington heeded their advice and decided to stand down. It was, as the Washington biographer Ron Chernow put it, sometimes better to miss a major opportunity than to barge into a costly error. So, 2 days later, on Christmas afternoon, the ashen-faced troops of the Continental Army filed from their half-built huts and tattered tents like weakened animals emerging from their burrows to receive a holiday dinner of burnt mutton and watery grog. Many, their own feet wrapped in rags, hunched past barefoot sentries, standing on their hats in the deepening snow. Washington and his aides spent the evening picking over simple, frugal, and austere repast of sinewy mutton and hickory nuts. The snow continued to fall. There was no Madeira, much less hemp. No weed to smoke. That night, a Continental soldier from Connecticut's 7th Regiment, known to posterity only as Jethro, was found dead in his tent. His skin was as cold as the dirt floor on which he lay, and a crude autopsy attributed his passing to a combination of malnutrition and exposure. Jethro was the initial death recorded on the rolls at Valley Forge, the first of many. That Jethro was one of the hundreds of freed black men at the winter encampment. who had enlisted to fight for the cause of American liberty, injects an even more tragic note into his demise. Right? So the first Continental Army that fought to create the nation of the United States got their asses handed to them over and over and over again over that year. They had one victory. They had one big victory. And then every other time they got their butts handed to them by the Continental Army or by the Brits, to the point that the Brits would come into their capital and just march around into their capital. And that would grind the gears of Washington, George Washington. And he wanted to go in and charge in and fight the British and kick them out and claim the capital of America, of the United States. But his captains around him looked at his army, and his army, who really wanted to fight for an American freedom, his army was messed up. His army was weak. His army was in no position to fight. Some of them were good warriors. I'm sure. I'm not saying the Americans were bad warriors. No, I'm sure they're great warriors. But the condition of their army was such that even if they had individual warriors who were strong, the overall group was not ready for it. The overall group was not ready. Even if there were some strong people, the overall group was not ready. So instead of charging into a battle that was probably going to end in the destruction of the United States Army, in order to save your ego, to get your capital, instead of that, Washington spent a long, hard winter in Valley Forge, outside of the capital, doing nothing but hunched down, being hunkered down, surviving winter. All he could do was survive winter. All they could do is survive winter, and that would be enough. Because we know from history that the Continental Army would survive that winter and go on to be victorious and help the United States become independent, and would lead to the rest. So I like to steal stories from other cultures, and I want to use that story to reflect upon our local movement here in Salem. This is our winter of 1777. Right? We had a long, hard summer, and we learned a lot. But right now is not the time to go confront the Proud Boys head on. It's not the time. Now is the time to rejuvenate and recuperate and strengthen our community and ourselves. Because if we march out to meet the Proud Boys now, it'll be bad. It'll be bad. It won't be any good. We reflect upon the experience at Valley Forge and know when it's time to winter and hunker down and hold out to better conditions for battle. And we haven't been defeated. We haven't lost. We're still here. We haven't gone anywhere, right? All the Proud Boys marching about being silly, they're just exposing their fascism to the rest of the world. So I think it'll be okay. All right, I've been going for a long time. I think that's enough. No one's going to watch this, but we'll try anyways. All right, America, thanks for hanging out. All right, peace.